Welcome back to the daily life of a middle-aged online shopper. Anime review episode number 5. We're here discussing the final 5 episodes we released this series so far, episodes 9 and 13. Now, by the way, in case you're curious though, by the end of this, is the full series adapted? No. No, it's not. Here's what happens. Well, episode 9 is like, oh, we have a dungeon. By the way, I love the episode's title for episode 9. These episodes, the final 5 episodes, we have, it's a spider. So what? The story of canals. Shock. The unreasonable, mischievous princess. To Sakura. Yep, so basically, Kenichi, Anami, and Melee, along with Vel, go to apparently get this. So there's a nearby dungeon near where Kenichi lives. So they go in, and of course they have some stuff. They also end up finding a giant spider, which they win, and of course he keeps it to keep for spook tactics because it pops up basically another episode. So then he spooks his, well, Bomi calls his wife. This is not technically married yet. Like, it's so good. And like, ooh, we have visitors. Her father, Marlo, shows up. So he appears basically like a patio thing, like, oh, think about business. And of course he officially asks him for his daughter's hand in marriage. He's like, that's not my permission to give. And he gives basically his blessing for these two to get married. Good on them for doing that. Also, Kendra comes back, basically pick up Mary, who's now fully better. And of course, also the Baron shows up. It's like, like, oh, that's where you went. So apparently, what really happened with Primrilla is that it's like as soon as he posed to her, she vanished instantly. And he ends up marrying, well, he's like, well, this is you, I'll give up. Because he trusts him. I thought this was quite interesting. Excuse me. And then he gets called upon by the Viscountess. Well, the whole thing of Viscountess with the canals in episode 10. Yes. Which this is interesting. So apparently, the area where the canal is supposed to be built is taking a while. As to the reason for this, they have no dates. They have like one when they complete it. So Kenichi is tasked by this beautiful woman, this Viscountess, who's married to this lord of the area. Where basically, by the way, she reveals apparently that her parents basically really want to get married off, so they basically don't have to worry about her because that was who. And it's like convincing, basically she's heard about what he actually can do, so basically she hires him to help her to build this canal. And also the fact that they provide food for them, and of course basically use this giant backhoe to knock over trees. Basically the Catmen, by the way, the three from the Lulu that they return, have been gone since like episode 4. Yes, episode 4. So yeah, so basically knock down trees, of course pick up the stumps, and the thing goes by really quickly. Like, wow, so quick. By the way, the Viscountess, this was really interesting. She got a chance in the front seat of a van. Yes, no joke. They drove her to this location because they got there really quickly. Oh, and her servers were taking their sweet time because it's to come by horse-drawn carriage, not by a freaking car. Yes. So they build it quickly, and of course also there's this local tavern, which of course apparently is charging unfair prices. And also this other guy, Turlo, basically it's like this evil noble merchant, which when they see the guy riding his carriage, oh, it's the noble who was actually the one who actually plotted to kidnap Primrilla because he was obsessed with her. And like, wow, he's in bed with these guys. Yeah, so after the thing is built, like, okay, let's get rid of the evil guy. So, get this. So, basically, like, you have Kenichi show up at the place, like, he basically summons a spider. Like, what are you doing? He starts to fight. He's like, yep. And of course, basically, here comes the boss. And it's like, you want to fight us? And of course, Phil's like, and by the way, oh, is Cappy work with him? All three. Because they do not want to harm the Bobcat, because basically they see the Bobcat as a messenger of the gods. So, look enough, he also had dogmen basically work for him, and it becomes like a massive brawl. It's very similar to what happened in episode 4 of the series. Yeah, this was so fun. Yes, so it's like, okay, no to stop him. He uses the backhoe to damage the building. And of course, I was like, please stop. Like, he uses for a branch office. And yeah, it turns out basically he planned to kill the local lord. He apparently overheard it because he was right there and hiding all along. By the way, when they were basically building the canal, the Vice Countess was trying to make the moves on Kenichi. Like at one point, first he basically has her, she has him, like, take off her dress, and because he's a very handsome man, because she technically doesn't love her husband. And by the way, Pramila basically is not happy with it. Of course, she's like, oh no. That was so funny. Excuse me. Also, they develop a weird plot thread at Milla, where at one point she gets sick, and then she gets healed. And then she proclaims to Kenichi she wants to have his baby. In the manga, wants babies. And I'm like, she's 12 years old. There is at this point, like a 27 age, you guys, like, it's like, wait, 5 years. Which, yes, that was in the manga. And I'm like, you do realize, though, she's a little girl. And I'm thinking, like, now here's the thing, he is not influencing her at all to basically act like an adult. This is not him. He has, now, you probably think, is he the one convincing her to basically develop an attraction to him? He's like, no, he just sees her as a daughter. And she wants him. Seriously. And she's like a daughter to him. She's like, nah, I want your baby. I'm like, and Pramila basically is the one who's the actual wife, per se. Yes. Now, why in the world, basically, that they, why this 12-year-old girl wants this, I have no idea. But despite her reactions, Kenichi does not touch her at all. Like, he may pat on her head, and of course they may share a bed together, but they just sleep. They don't do anything at all. There was one point, basically, where taking a bath, and of course Pramila, and one basically for him, one over Erla, because she wanted to basically share a bath with him. And I'm like, yeah, I get the reason why she wanted to, because she's the wife. Of course, basically, she didn't rather share a bath, but they did them once before. Yep. And eventually, she's able to go home, and I think after drag her out of town. And then this leads into, get this, next few episodes involving, well, Kenichi visiting the royal capital. Despite that gets her order, they can't refuse, because if they refuse, the Lord basically will probably arrested for aiding and abetting. So basically, Kenichi takes a van out and has basically the whole family ride in this van, riding straight to the cap. Apparently, they arrived too early, so they basically get like a little. And of course, the princess, to meet the princess Lily for the first time. Which, if I can say an English dub for this thing, I would not be surprised if they can have Sarah Winehoff basically voice her, which I think would be so awesome. I'll talk more about that later on. So, after a brief drive in the van, like, everything's all fine. And of course, the servants are acting so over the top, basically like, no, princess, no. It's basically, they think basically the van is a monster, which I think is kind of funny. So, then I set up camp, that's all this other stuff. By the way, in the manga, basically, they actually have the scene play a little differently. Though it's a little bit of montage, but still the same scene, nonetheless. Yeah, so, and of course, they eat some food, and of course, they have some candy, and of course, the princess has a lot of fun. At one point, get this, they're tasked. By the way, in the manga, this does not happen on 25. This happens a bit later on. So, basically, the first major task, kill rats. Gives everybody some special gas suits, kill all these rats. And then they have the whole thing of like, look around this haunting area of the castle, and of course, basically look around the castle. Eventually, because basically it's all about protecting basically her mother. But the thing is, the queen is not technically her mother. It's her stepmother. And I'm like, oh my god, this woman's so beautiful. And also, like, so they reveal the whole thing of her, instead of basically because there's a noble who gave the queen this vase with this flower on it, and apparently he put a curse on it for some weird reason. So, and then one night, basically, while they're there, Kenichi's asked to come visit Mulan, basically the lieutenant, where, like, it's like, please be gentle. I'm like, is he about to have sex? Is he about to do anything with her? Well, apparently he decided, because apparently he couldn't stop staring at her chest for some weird reason. So he put her in a sexy maid outfit. I am not kidding about that. Apparently he took the time to get out of the outfit she was wearing and put a sexy maid outfit on. And Pramila does not know anything about this at all, which is something. So, and then after all this, after all the food and all this other stuff, a lot of really fun stuff here, and then eventually, finally, they get audience with the king in this gigantic audience chamber, where then basically we have the sorceress challenge him to a duel, which basically she summons a dragon, he summons a Paco. Which, of course, the Pacos have a tough time looking up. Basically, the two beast girls are there to help him out. Vel's there too, and of course, Emilia basically get a chance to attack with her great magic. And by the way, the sorceress is shocked at the fact that Emilia knows high protection. Yep. And here's something interesting about this. Okay, now, for some interesting reason, Kenichi has this weird thing of staring at big-breasted women. And of course, basically, Pramila basically being very angry at him for doing that. Like, he stares at just the queen we meet her later on. He stares, well, at the attendant. Surprised he doesn't do it for the sorceress, despite the fact she's got a big rack. Yes. So eventually he feeds the lesser dragon. And like, oh, friend of the family. So Liz like, my birthday's coming up. Can I get a present? He's like, fine, I'll give you basically this necklace. And the queen's like, my birthday's coming up too. Can I get a present as well? Fine, here's a pearl necklace. I was like, that's satisfactory. And the king is basically like, oh, by the way, the whole thing with the daughter, who is not technically the daughter of the queen. So they reveal in this thing that she's the daughter of a concubine. Yes, that word we said frequently when I get a chance to my next series. You'll find out some more what that is. Yep. And by the way, it's a long first season of the show. Oh yeah, definitely. Looking forward to talking about it. Yep. Anything else? Oh yeah, there's still more stuff here. So, by the way, they reveal apparently that Emilia's mother, was a famous sorceress who apparently died 10 years later than the series. They don't confirm how she died. Emilia's asked by her mother. She's like, all she knows about her, she died. That's it. Yeah, and it's like, well, possibly a potential rival. Not for the love of Kenichi. Magic rival. Her own rival. Okay. Yep. And reads basically the grimoire. It's like, yeah, apparently, get this. Her mother wrote in the book that she was supposed to get this book all along. Which, smart on basically mom for doing that. Yep. So, then, as a thank you for all the stuff basically Kenichi did, the king basically grants him the rank of a baron. Making him a noble. And his own territory. So basically the princess decided to tag along with her attendant. So he decides to basically spring up with this long van, which all of them drive straight to his new location. And that's pretty much the whole thing in a nutshell. It's really fun. I thoroughly enjoy this. Now, in case you're curious though, like, some people would probably be asking me this. Was there a scene in the anime that was something that happened in the manga that they cut out? Like the wedding of Kenichi and Parisa? No. Was never shown. It just basically mentioned these two got married off panel. Not the first time. Marlowe himself basically now. Okay, since there was no dub for this thing, as far as I can tell, there's no confirmed dub for it. I've never heard anything. So, who do you think voices characters? Lilith, I can obviously see basically Sarah Pinehop basically do this one. Lilith, given the type of character she is, I could give that to Jamie Maraseri. Yes. What about Kenichi? Kenichi, I could easily see. I could easily see Ty Habercorn doing it. I could also see the guy who did the main character's English dub for Head Into the World. He could possibly do it. Rico? I'm not sure. Priscilla? Oh yeah, I could definitely see Lucy Christian basically voicing her. Her maid? Not sure. The little girl? Amida? Oh, another person for the Queen? Besides Jamie, I could easily see Colin Clickybeard basically doing it. She might be able to do it, no problem. Yes. As a little girl, I could easily see Tia Bauer doing that one. How about the cat girl? Oh, the tiger one, I can easily see that one be Stephanie Young. Yes. The cat girl. I can easily see Trina Shimura doing that one. Possibly. Well, not just because basically her fur is purple. Yeah. Or the father, Marlowe. I can easily see Sabbath doing that one. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about it. Not in the slightest. The Knight, I can easily see Derek Snow doing that one. Yeah, I can easily see Derek Snow doing that one. Three Beastmen, probably, I can easily see Patrick Stoltz, John Sweeney, and, no, not Mike McFarlane. No, I don't think he would do it. It's not just because basically the man is going through health problems. I don't think he would fit the Catman at all. I think he might fit one of the other characters in the series, possibly. Maybe Chris Roger might do it. Yeah. But that's my fan casting basically for the series. But this series was a lot of fun. Thank you for the commenter. I don't remember the guy's name. Thank you for suggesting this series because this series was a lot of fun. What series am I doing next? Well, let's announce it right now. I'm doing the Apothecary Diaries next. But I'll win the first season, given the fact that the series has currently about almost 50 episodes. So, I'm just doing the first season, and then go back to Kamen Riki. That's the plan. So, that is pretty much a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I will see you all a very long time later. Okay? Let's go.